Back on the floor here doing interviews at Out of Chicago 2016. We are here with Tim. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. How was your trip over?
Yeah, long but interesting, you know. Just another country.
Very cool. So I was watching on social media, and you've been running around town here in Chicago. And what were you guys shooting yesterday? It looked like a McLaren.
We were doing a live shoot, so we had a class, about 10, 15 people, I think, and we did a McLaren downtown in like a specialist dealership.
Cool.
So we're going through the whole process of doing car interiors, detail, lighting the car, basically introducing people to using like more pro lights, really.
Excellent, excellent. How did everyone like it? They seemed to be putting some cool pictures up.
It was great. It was a really good day. I think it's one of those things. I think there was a few people there that have never tried to light a car, and cars in their nature are three-dimensional mirrors, so they're quite difficult. But we had a few eureka moments with like just one light where people were like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know you could do that. And it's great. Yeah, it was really good.
Excellent. So you do primarily cars lately, it seems like, right? That's like your bigger contracts?
I do cars, I do commercial vehicles, but yeah, it's transport based. It's at the higher end sort of thing.
So when you were getting into photography, how did you gravitate towards cars? Because they are kind of a more difficult subject out there to shoot.
It is a difficult thing to do, cars. And like anyone that's lit a car or tried to light a car, they realise that it's technically quite difficult. In one sense, that's a good thing because it means my competition is minimised. On the other sense, there are days when I'm in there and I'm like, and I'm thinking, why didn't I just do food or something that doesn't reflect? But the decision to shoot what I shoot is purely a commercial business decision because my work is quite dramatic and it's like an emotional image. And if you buy a sports car for $200,000, it's an emotional purchase.
Yeah.
So the campaign, the advertising requires an emotional image, so it fits my market.
Gotcha.
So the decision was based on that, really.
Excellent. So a lot of the stuff you teach isn't always the technical stuff. I saw you at, I think it was Photoshop World, and you teach a lot of stuff about business-wise and trying to help other photographers elevate their business and do the right things. And it speaks to me a lot because I love that kind of stuff as well. So what are some ideas you can give people out there quickly of some top tips that people should be doing in business that they're not doing more than likely?
Difficult because I do the business seminars and they can last 5 hours.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a huge conversation. But in short, I mean, the top tips I would say is that you build a portfolio. A portfolio is not really to show great pictures. A portfolio, commercially, is all about showing your technical ability, but it's the window to show your style.
Yeah.
You get commissioned commercially on your style. You're a professional photographer, you should be able to take a good picture.
Yeah.
The other top tip would be when you're trying to do business, don't fire emails to people. Pick up a phone, have a conversation, get an introduction, and then go and do business face to face. That would be honestly my top tips.
Top 2 tips. So if I recall correctly, you were saying in one of your talks that you had worked with Audi and then you no longer work with them anymore. Are you still?
No, it's not Audi, it's Aston. I used to do a lot of heritage classic stuff. And I've sort of backed away from that in the last year, but that's a conscious business decision by me because the markets have changed. It's very complicated, but the oil price in the world has changed. The investment value of high-end classic cars has changed. Because I know that's going to change and evolve, I'm evolving my business and changing it before it happens.
Excellent.
It's just it's a natural thing for me to do, you know. So it's just evolution. It's you know.
That's good though. Some people just kind of stay too long and then it.
Well, I think the thing is, it's like business. If you just stick to a business model. And you might, I mean, I'm doing this 10 years in February next year. And you're like, if it's a shape and you're like, right, that's it there. The problem is the world changes.
Yeah.
And if you don't allow this to change, eventually the world changes that much that your business model's out of date.
The world keeps on moving. Things change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So what else? Are there any new projects that you're working on now that you're kind of evolving and changing, new stuff that you can reveal to us?
It's difficult. The only problem with what I do is that some of the people I work with, I can't really say what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
And then I shoot it, and then you don't see it for a year anyway. It's like there's a really exciting client that I started working for about 6 months ago. I can't tell you who they are because officially they don't exist yet.
Gotcha.
They will become public knowledge at the end of this year, and then what I've done for them won't come out until next year.
Okay.
But it's cutting edge stuff. It's engineering. It involves Formula One, and it's really good.
Awesome.
But I can't tell you anything about it.
So when we see it, remember, everyone's going to be out there like, oh, I remember he talked about that a year ago.
Yeah, it's annoying because it's like the stuff I shot. It's great. Yeah. It's really good stuff. But yeah, I can't tell you.
Like
anything.
hold off 12 months and then it'll be out
there.
there.
But that's the nature of it, you know. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So one last thing we like to ask everyone. So as a photographer, what never fails to inspire you?
People.
People.
I'm a firm believer. It might sound like a strange answer, but I'm a firm believer that there's two people in every picture. There's you, the person who takes it, and there's the person who's looking at it. Every picture says something different to everybody else. And when you put yourself into an image, the things that affect you in your life affect what you do in your work. So what inspires me are people within my world. So I'm very careful that I surround myself with positive people. Anything negative in my life, I just walk away from. There's not enough time in life for that.
Yeah.
So I shape my creativity in my life in that way. I know it's a bizarre thing to say.
No, it makes a lot of sense though.
But I try and keep things positive, and I'm a big believer in paying it forward. So I do things for people. There's no benefit to me. There's no financial reward, but I get something back from a creative, emotional point of view. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
very cool. So you have more classes or workshops here?
Yeah, it's a few more of these interviews, and there's a few business deals going on, which is interesting.
Cool.
Which I didn't expect. So I keep getting collared by people, which is interesting. And then I've got a talk tonight, which is basically about my life, really, in photography, which is going to be pretty emotional talk, if I'm honest. And then there's some more stuff tomorrow. So yeah, it's busy.
Excellent. Well, great to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to sit down here. And
pleasure.
Looking forward to getting this live and looking forward to the rest of the show.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks a lot.